Since the dawn of civilization, there have been a number that have elicited chills, whispers of warning, and grim theories. A number that appears in the pages of the most widely read book of all time and has been feared, debated, and interpreted for centuries. That number is 666, known as the number of the beast. But what does it really mean? What mysteries lie behind this number that has left an indelible mark on the history of mankind? How does science contribute to the emergence of this brand? Is it possible that we are already witnessing the beginning of this seal, and without realizing it, we are ignoring it? Dear listener, today we invite you on a deep journey in this documentary, where we will unravel the hidden layers of this enigmatic symbol, from its biblical roots to its possible manifestations in the modern world. Before we begin, I want to thank you for following us and being part of our ministry. We are a Christian team dedicated to faithfully spreading the Word of God, and your support is vital to us. The best way to help us is to share this message with all your friends and family. This allows us to continue spreading the gospel and reach more people with the message of Christ. Let's get started. The number 666 appears in the book of Revelation, where it is described as the mark of the beast, without which no one can buy or sell. Let's read Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 to 18. And he causes all, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. This passage has generated immense theological interpretations and continues to be a central theme in Christian eschatology. One of the biggest challenges in interpreting this number is understanding its symbolism within the biblical context. Some theologians see it as a numerical code that symbolizes the imperfection of man as opposed to God's perfect number 7. Others interpret it as a direct historical reference to figures such as the Emperor Nero, whose name, according to some numerical interpretations, can be translated as 666. This view holds that the number represented the oppressive power of the Roman Empire that persecuted early Christians. And on the other hand, many theologians argue that the number 666 should not be limited to a single historical period. Instead, it should be understood as a timeless symbol representing any evil power system that seeks to turn humanity away from God. This spiritual and prophetic approach leads us to consider that the mark of the beast may be a warning that will be fulfilled in the end times, when a global system emerges to oppress believers and challenge their faith. Now, we believe that the mark of the beast will have a future fulfillment, especially after the rapture of the church. This may be the most accurate interpretation in the context of the tribulation. The church fathers, such as Irenaeus and Augustine, interpreted 666 as a symbol of the Antichrist and the coming Great Tribulation, an idea that has endured in Christian tradition. These visions not only reflect their historical context, but also raise profound questions about the future and destiny of humanity. Contemporary theological interpretations, such as those of Francisco La Cueva and other theologians, invite us to delve deeper into the meaning of the number. We are challenged to consider whether 666 represents a specific historical figure who has already had an impact, or whether, in a broader sense, it alludes to a spiritual system of global evil that will seek to dominate the world in the end times. This second perspective suggests that 666 is not simply an isolated number, but a symbol that embodies the ongoing struggle between good and evil, highlighting the oppressive forces that have manifested themselves throughout history and that could re-emerge in an apocalyptic future. Throughout history, the number 666 has acquired a profound meaning in both popular culture and theological thought. This number has been interpreted as a symbol of oppression and has influenced various religious movements. Since the Middle Ages, 666 has been associated with the persecution of Christians under the Roman Empire. This connection generated a sense of fear and anguish that has been perpetuated in different contexts throughout the centuries. During the apocalyptic movements of the 19th century, anxiety surrounding the number of the beast became a catalyst for numerous theories and movements. In the Protestant Reformation, some reformers, such as Martin Luther, identified the papacy with the beast of the apocalypse, interpreting 666 as a symbol of the corrupt system they perceived in the Roman Catholic Church. This interpretation reflected an internal struggle within Christianity, where the number became a symbol of resistance against what they considered an oppressive authority. Furthermore, the number 666 has been instrumentalized in popular culture, appearing in horror films and music as a symbol of rebellion and a representation of absolute evil. This raises the question, is this fascination with 666 simply superstition, or does it reflect a real deep fear of a dark force that has operated throughout history? This duality between theological and cultural interpretation continues to generate debate and reflection on the meaning of the number in the current context. Furthermore, over the centuries, various secret societies and esoteric movements have interpreted the number 666 in ways that have created a mixture of myths and realities. For some of these organizations, the number symbolizes hidden knowledge and access to higher levels of spiritual understanding. Esoteric movements, for their part, have seen it as a representation of the duality between good and evil, suggesting that conflict between these forces is necessary. These interpretations have left a mark on contemporary culture, resonating in literature, film, and art, where 666 is explored as a symbol of power, morality, and the nature of evil. The history of the number invites us to reflect on its influence on our perceptions of the world and the occult. Now, we want to delve deeper into how contemporary science and technology can facilitate the emergence of the mark of the beast 666. This issue is surrounded by enigmas that deserve attention, since many of the current technological advances seem to be oriented towards this disturbing possibility. The Bible had already prophesied these times long ago. In the book of the prophet Daniel, chapter 12, verse 4, it is mentioned, "But you, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book until the time of the end. Many will run to and fro, and knowledge will increase." This verse emphasizes the idea that in the end times, knowledge and science would increase greatly. This statement can be interpreted in the current context, where technological advances are increasingly rapid and profound, affecting all aspects of human life. Running from here to there can symbolize the constant search for information and the mobility of people in a globalized world. As science advances, so do questions about its ethical and social implications, especially in relation to control and surveillance. The expression, "science will increase," indicates an exponential growth of knowledge and scientific advances, which is manifested in the accelerated development of technologies. Democratized access to information through the internet, global collaboration between researchers, the interdisciplinarity that fuses various areas of knowledge, and the ethical dilemmas that arise in relation to the use of this knowledge and technologies. Let us also read Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 18. "For in much wisdom there is much trouble, and he who increases knowledge increases sorrow." If intellectualism were the key to finding meaning in life, our college campuses would be examples of peace, honesty, morality, and contentment. However, this is not the case. Rather, they are hotbeds of unrest, dishonesty, and immorality. The caricature of the typical student, with his head wrapped in a towel and popping aspirin next to cups of coffee, reflects the idea that the more you know, the more worries you have, and the more pain you experience. Thus, the saying blessed ignorance and out of sight, out of mind are partly validated. The verse from Ecclesiastes suggests that the pursuit of wisdom and knowledge, while enriching, can carry emotional weight and a heightened awareness of life's difficulties and injustices, which in turn generates anxiety and responsibility when facing the ethical and moral problems that arise with the advancement of knowledge. It's really impressive what technology is achieving in this context. Things are starting to come in amazing ways. They are becoming more and more accessible, and it is becoming easier every day. Technology continues to grow exponentially. I want you to understand, brother, that the devil or the Antichrist will not present himself in an obvious way, putting a visible seal on your forehead and telling you that he is 666. The implementation will be so subtle that we will all feel the need to adopt it. It is comparable to me asking you, brother, to hand over your phone. Studies indicate that around 80% of people could not function without their mobile device. We wake up and check social media like Facebook and Twitter. We are constantly connected. It is fascinating to see how technology is evolving. Observe, for example, modern cars. Almost all new models have Bluetooth and integrated technology. This advance is developing little by little and is taking shape. The technology is opening the way for the brand of the beast, and I want you to understand how this is happening. Today we can see the scanners. When they appeared, we were all amazed and commented on how advanced that technology was. Before we had to weigh the products, but now you can simply take something and scan it, even using your phone. Then we were also surprised when the small chips began to appear. We can observe different advances. In universities, just put the finger to access all the information. The cards also contain complete data. When this technology emerged, many people claimed that it was the brand of the beast, but in reality, it is not. He is simply racing the way to what the brand of the beast really represents. A chip that many have indicated as the brand of the beast has been mentioned. Every day when we wake up, we discover something new. You buy an iPad today, and in 2 months, you already feel obsolete. You acquire a computer today, and in 6 months, you may not have enough memory. Technology advances by leaps and bounds. I want to tell you that the FDA has approved an implantable chip that contains the medical history. Doctors do not need to visit you at home or go to their office. Everything can be done through a screen. This chip, approved on October 14, 2004, is the size of a rice grain and can store more than 1,000 photos. As a result, many organizations have begun to wonder if it is really the brand of the beast. It is really impressive because this chip has been a great advance. They have tried to create many chips, but the battery is usually exhausted. For example, if I talk to a microphone for 2 hours, in 40 minutes you will stop listening to me because the battery will have exhausted and I will need to replace it. The question was how to remove and put this chip to people every week. However, they have developed a small chip that, by introducing it into the right hand, is automatically recharged thanks to the electricity generated by our brain. If it is placed in the left hand, nothing happens, but in the right hand there is enough electricity to recharge it. This really curious and alarming since in Apocalypse chapter 13 verse 16 says, "And it made everyone, small and large, rich and poor, free and slaves, a mark were placed in their right hand or on the forehead." Dear listener, this is the current technology, but it is not the brand of the beast. In Hawaii, they have begun to experiment with chips implanted in pets, such as dogs, and now it is law that these devices are introduced. In the United States, most dogs have a cost of $25 to implement the chip. If your dog is lost, you can locate it in 30 minutes simply by accessing the computer, which will indicate its location. One might think, how good? This is what I need. I would like to put a chip to my son, my other child, to all my children to know where they are. It is a useful tool, but it is definitely not the brand of the beast. In that small chip, the size of a grain of rice, information is stored. Here is a summary what it is. They are small electronic chips whose information can be read at a distance and replace, among other things, to barcodes to scan prices. They are found in books, razor machines, shoes, clothing, medications, and food packaged, among other domestic objects. This little chip has affirmed that it works, and if it is effective in humans, why not try it in other objects? Every day, when you go shopping, you do not realize that there is a chip inside the products. When you receive a box and remove the stick, you will notice small lines on the back. These are like tiny threads, a chip that provides information about the origin of the box, its weight, who sent it, who received it, and who handled the truck. All this comes from a simple stick. We often think of a large chip or a visible seal that will impose us, but in reality, this is just a stick, almost like a roll. In clothes, there is a technology that you may not have noticed. Behind the label, there is a small circle that can provide information about who bought that garment, where it goes, and how many times it has been used. You can wash or dry it without anything happens, but the company is controlling all that data. Imagine the advance of this technology. The Lord comes soon, and the question is, are you prepared? I don't want to face the brand of the beast. The Bible tells us that we will be freed and we will not go through the tribulation. Those who will face this. Why am I talking about this? Because technology has advanced so much that the Lord's coming is very close. No one knows exactly when it will happen, but what is happening around us is significant. You get up in the morning, listen to the news, and realize that they are a reflection of what the Word of God says. Today, various events are preparing the public to accept the brand of the beast, such as the emergence of a world government focused on the fight against terrorism, the Union of Europe, the adoption of the euro as a common currency, and the use of English as a unifying language in the technological field. When you pass through the airport and check you carefully, you think, place anything, even a chip, to identify a terrorist. Did you know that now all school buses are equipped with a chip that allows you to immediately locate them in case of a kidnapping? This creates a positive mentality where people feel relieved and safe. Thus, when the brand of the beast arrives, it is expected that there are no chaos, but that people accept it as something beneficial. The reaction could be, how are you not going to accept it if it is so useful? Today, it is increasingly difficult to make purchases or transactions only with cash. Everyone prefers credit cards. You can't rent a car without a card. Cash is no longer enough. We wonder what is happening. On the other hand, English has become the predominant language in technology, which means that we are moving towards a single unifying language. We are moving towards a company without cash, where credit and debit cards are more accepted than cash, and in many establishments in the United States, money is no longer accepted on paper. In addition, biological and mechanical transplants have become common and considered routine to prolong life. All this reflects a growing acceptance of privacy loss. As Time magazine points out in its article, The Death of Privacy, there is nothing really private, since everyone shares information through social networks and text messages. Imagine the power we have in our hands and everything we can do with our phone. Technology advances by leaps and bounds. Now, take off your child's phone and it seems that the world is over. The reality is that today's phones have a capacity comparable to that of the first spaceflight to the moon. Now, on the other hand, the BBC Mundo published an article entitled, "A Pharmacy Within Your Body." In it, it is mentioned how they discovered that a chip, the thickness of a thread or hair, can function effectively when introduced into people's body. I will explain what this implies. According to statistics from the United States government, cited by the Journal of Applied Research, more than 125,000 people die each year for not taking their medication as prescribed. In addition, hospital costs generated by patients who do not follow the instructions of their doctors amount to approximately $8.5 billion annually, all for a simple oblivion. Given this situation, there is a biomedical company that is working on solutions. The Proteus Biomedical Company has developed edible electronic circuits, known as Digestible technology. These chips, when they are ingested together with medicine, wirelessly transmit vital information to an external device on the medication that is being taken. Time, date, dose, type of medicine, and reference data on its manufacture. That is, the chip is incorporated directly into the pill or capsule. Not only that is something incredible, the chip is small and can be ingested, staying in the stomach. For example, if my wife should take her medicine and forget, I can configure my phone to send me text messages notifying me if she took her medication. If my wife did not take it, the chip will send a signal to your body and notify the computer, indicating that you have not received the necessary dose. This can send a message to your doctor, to me, or other people who are informed. Thus, I would receive a notice on my phone that I would say, "You have not taken your medicine, you must do it." These chips, now in the form of pills, are a great advance, and thousands of people in the United States are relieved and excited about this innovation. A pharmacy inside your body. The chip that you take remains in your stomach, in your system. Who finds it uncomfortable to go to the doctor to collect your medicine? Yes or no? You have to wait hours. But if you take that chip, what will happen is that the doctor can tell you when you lack a dose. You can go to the computer and electronically send your medicine directly to the chip, so you will not have to return to the doctor. Dear listener, the advance of technology is surprisingly easy, present in clothes, in disposable scarves, in the diapers of babies, and in the clothes of pregnant women. We are accepting it, and there is nothing wrong with it. This is not the brand of the beast, but it is a step towards the preparation of the arrival of the Antichrist, which will make the introduction of the brand of the beast, the 666, is something simple when the church is carried. The Lord's word warns us that anyone who adores or accepts this is hated by him. The brand of the beast refers to a symbol of control and loyalty to the Antichrist, as described in the book of Apocalypse. This brand is presented as a form of identification that allows people to participate in the economy, that is, buy and sell. In a modern context, many believe that technological advances are preparing the way for this form of control. Current technology, with its ability to track and manage personal information, could facilitate the implementation of a system where human beings are more controlled. For example, the use of chips, monitoring applications, and centralized databases can make a form of identification to access basic services. This technological advance raises the possibility that the human being, in his search for convenience and security, accepts a control that limits his freedom. Thus, the brand of the beast symbolizes a future where technology could be used to dominate and regulate people's lives, transforming the relationship between the individual and power. Appreciated listeners, it is undeniable that the world is at a crucial point, ready for a type of control that previously seemed unthinkable. At the time of the pandemic, we could not enter a shopping center, a bank, or any other entity without complying with specific requirements, which reflects a significant change in our way of interacting with society. This panorama indicates that we are increasingly accustomed to accepting conditions that we would not have considered before. The current reality suggests that the world is mature for what is to come. While we wait for Jesus' coming in the rapture, it is essential that we be alert and aware of the changes around us. Before finishing, I would like us to read in Apocalypse chapter 14, verses 9 to 11. And the third angel followed them, saying in a great voice, "If anyone loves the beast and his image, and receives the mark on his forehead or in his hand, he will also drink from the wine of the wrath of God, which has been emptied pure in the chalice of his anger, and will be tormented with fire and sulfur in front of the holy angels and the Lamb. And the smoke of his torment rises forever and ever. And those who worship the beast and their image, nor anyone who receives the mark of his name has no rest or night." Friend listener, the Lord is very clear when we warn us. There will be a time when, even if you cry or regret, there will be no turning back. This is your time of opportunity. Don't wait any longer. If you have been a bit distant in your faith, now it is the perfect time to return to the presence of God. Take this opportunity and look for its closeness before it's too late. And so we come to the end of this video. Thank you for being part of our channel. God bless you abundantly. Until the next video.